Well, there's a lot of things that you said there. I would say that, okay, so first of all, the first thing about cryptocurrency I would say is that it's exactly like the internet was in, let's say, 1999 or
Sure.
2000 when it
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Remember when pets.com came out, it was like the #2 or #3.
What, they like furniture.com when they were like, there was another one where they were selling couches or some shit. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, pets.com is a great example.
Multi-billion-dollar companies that are worth.
Dude, how about, listen, my favorite basketball team, the Dallas Mavericks, is owned by Mark Cuban from Shark Tank. And if you go back and look at that transaction for $5 billion for audio, for broadcast.com or audionet.com, it was an absolute swindle. When you think about it, like we wouldn't even be talking about, we wouldn't even be discussing Mark Cuban in any way, shape, or form had he not basically swindled Yahoo out of $5 billion. And I mean, all credit to Mark Cuban, but like that's the whole thing. It's like, had he tried to sell that same idea 10 years earlier or 10 years later, it would have been nothing.
It would not. Exactly. So the same way that like cryptocurrency is, the same way the internet was very dangerous back then in 1999, the same way that cryptocurrency is dangerous now. The idea, though, is that you must do your research, which you said a lot of people don't want to do. And you must do your research and you must take evidence that you get and do your research on top of that evidence. Just based on your smoked out cousin that happened to make $5 million because he invested in something. That doesn't mean that he's wrong just because he's a smoked out idiot. Take what he did, investigate it, and you'll find out that, oh, my smoked out cousin actually knows what he's talking about, even though he just so happened to run into it accidentally. Based off of your own research that you do, right? Yeah. So doing your own research is extremely important for cryptocurrency. The problem is a lot of people are too lazy to do it. They don't want to do it themselves, and they just want to do it to get rich. Now, of course, I want to get rich too. There's no let me not deny I get into crypto to get rich, but crypto also has a lot of benefits itself too. Like Cyprus, I believe, their currency crashed dramatically, and this was a couple years ago, and they wouldn't allow their citizens to take out money. I think it was like you couldn't take out more than $1,000 at a time, and the only way that they could survive was to enact through Bitcoin. That's the only way that
Cyprus is another example of, again, there's billionaires in India trying to get their money out of India for exact same reason. Yes,
exactly. So reasons like that is why cryptocurrency itself is very, very beneficial. And it's even in Ukraine too. Like at the beginning of the war, people were sending people money through Bitcoin for food, for different things like that. In fact, my VA is in Ukraine right now because the prices in Bangladesh were a little bit too much. So my VA is in Ukraine because of the war that's going on. The market dynamics make it cheaper for me to get a VA in Ukraine.
It's really funny. So I have a VA in Mosul, Iraq right now. Mm-hmm. And it is funny the way that whole thing works. A couple things. A little off topic. This bullshit about Ukraine, the war in Ukraine is just a money laundering operation. Then why are they kicking the shit out of the Russians if it's a money laundering operation? I'm sorry, I just wanted to go off on the side. I just keep hearing this nonsense about that. I just had to say, I was like, well, then why are they winning if they're laundering all this money? No, but the thing with the cryptocurrency
being true at the same time, don't you think that? Don't you think that they could launder money and Ukraine could be kicking the shit out of Russia at the same time?
No, because they need the money to kick the shit out of Russia. They have to. Do you understand how incredibly expensive it is to do all this stuff? No, I don't. I don't agree with that at all. Going back to what you're saying before, about what I'm saying is there money laundering in Ukraine? Yes, the exact same amount as there is in Romania, the exact same amount there is in Belarus, the exact same amount there is in Russia, the exact same amount there is in Estonia, the exact same amount there is in Lithuania. They're all the exact same amount of money laundering, corruption, prostitution in all those Eastern European countries. It's not just Ukraine. That's the point I'm trying to make. But going back to what you were saying before with the situation with what was it, the thing before we were talking about? Oh yeah, having a cheaper dynamic. I have there's a guy, I saw him on TikTok, and it was genius. Anytime there's a war or a terrorist attack, he goes and visits the country that happens, and he's like, I get hotel rooms for $50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After the explosion in Lebanon, he just goes there because obviously it wasn't a terrorist situation that happened there, but like he goes there right afterwards, and he's just like, yeah, it was great. I got to see everything. It was super cheap. Like that's what happened. Like
cruises to the West Indies actually were about $14 for a 7-day cruise right after Corona happened. I was like, this is unbelievable. This is like a Royal Caribbean.
Incredible.
$14 for 7 days because no one wanted to buy anything. Yeah. So take things to your advantage if you want. if you want to.
Yeah, when I saw those cruise lines, when they saw the stock prices, I was like, dude, let's buy.
Yeah,
like because it was like this idea that coronavirus is going to end cruise lines was one of the dumbest things. Like, you just don't understand people or the world. Like, I've been on like 14 cruises. I love going on cruises. People my age generally don't like going on cruises. Young people, unless it's the what's it called,
I went to Virgin
Groove Cruise. The Groove Cruise.
Yeah.
Huh? I
went to Virgin Cruises. That was for like younger people.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to your point initially, it's like what should happen in the market is, as we hire people from a certain area of the country, the standard of living of that place should go up. That's how free markets work. That's what's good. Free markets reward hard work. That's what's awesome about free markets, right? I have one guy who works for me in Nigeria, another one who works for me in Nepal, and one guy who works for me in Iraq. And I like that I'm hiring these people. They're getting a better way of life. I pay them fairly. And because of that, everything kind of works out. And eventually what will happen over time is, as the standard of living goes up in those places, which it should, then you're going to start seeing more people in other places pop up and be like, well, okay, now I'm going to hire a guy in Argentina. Now I'm going to hire a guy in Nicaragua. Now I'm going to hire a guy who lives in, Ukraine. And so that's the way it should work. And you're right. In some places, because of currency controls, you're not allowed to do things like that. And we Men of Action, we take Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not stupid. Like, we have a Bitcoin wallet. We take payments in Bitcoin. Some people are very, very comfortable doing that. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. We accept that as a form of payment, because I do respect this whole idea, and I see incredible potential in it. But I do think, like I've said before, and some of these guys I'm good friends with, and I party with them here in Las Vegas. They're the wrong. It's almost like, who John Zerka is. He's like, John Zerka is the wrong guy to represent the red pill. Some of the guys who were selling Bitcoin courses in the beginning, they were the wrong guys to sell the Bitcoin courses. They were selling like a Bitcoin lifestyle course, basically like invest in Bitcoin, and then all these girls come with it, that kind of shit. And it's just really bad. And the other thing that's going to happen is, so I'm friends with Tom Sosnoff, who runs Tasty Trade, and Tom, and I both have the same belief. That is basically, once there's a listed options market on cryptocurrency, you're going to see a ton of volatility come out of that market. And when that happens, when it's regulated, you're also going to see a lot of this like crypto bro mindset kind of go away, because it's going to be a regulated marketplace where serious companies are going to make massive transactions. The other thing that I think a lot of people are missing is that whenever these new coins come out and they're like, oh, these other coins are bullshit, but our coin has a utility. I'm always thinking to myself, I'm like, Amazon.com could just make a coin and just stomp you out. I just don't see how they couldn't. Walmart could just make their own coin and just stomp you out. Why couldn't they? You know what I'm saying? What if Amazon was like, hey, you can spend our crypto, our Amazon crypto, and you get a 15% discount on all of our products. And then all of a sudden, now that level of crypto is in circulation. What's to stop you or Meta from doing it? Meta tried to do it. Obviously, it didn't work. But what's to stop something like that from happening? It could happen. And when that happens, because this is decentralized, you can't stop them. Someone comes up with someone, instead of bringing utility to a currency, someone has a utility and then just attaches a currency to it. Then all of a sudden that becomes a massive competitive advantage. And what we're going to see that's already happened is, it's like what the top 20 wallets in the world have like half the cryptocurrency in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like this massive inequity of wealth that was supposed to be stopped by cryptocurrency is actually created more of an inequity of wealth. So again, going back to what I said before, I'm a big fan of the blockchain. I'm a big fan of cryptocurrency. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed with the way things have gone, and all the promises that were made, again, about anonymity, about decentralization, about being a flight to quality, and about wealth disparity. And turns out none of those things were true.